It's 7:13 p.m. You are lying on the couch, too tired to cook, too tired to answer anyone, and too tired to enjoy resting. But when you replay the day, nothing looks difficult enough to explain why your body feels like it has been carrying bricks. You did not run a marathon. You did not solve a crisis. You barely crossed half the things off your list. So where did all your energy go? To find it, we need to rewind the day, not to see what you did, but to notice what your mind never stopped doing. At 7:02 a.m., your eyes opened, but your brain had already started scanning for problems. Before your feet touched the floor, you remembered the message you ignored, the task you delayed, and the decision you still had not made. Your body was still under the blanket, but your mind had already entered several different emergencies. None of them were happening in the room, but your nervous system did not care about that distinction. It simply received the signal that something was unfinished, uncertain, or potentially dangerous. You checked your phone for 1 minute, then spent 10 more minutes carrying what you saw inside your head. A short email became a future argument. A calendar reminder became proof that you were already behind. One ordinary morning contained dozens of tiny moments in which your brain prepared for things that never actually happened. That constant preparation consumes energy, even when nobody around you can see any visible effort. By breakfast, you had made almost no visible progress. But internally, you had already been negotiating with your entire life. Should you start the hard task now, or wait until you can focus properly? Should you answer that person immediately, or wait and risk sounding careless later? Should you rest for a moment, or use that moment to catch up? Each decision looked small. Together, they kept your mind standing at a crowded intersection all day. You were not simply choosing what to do. You were repeatedly checking whether every choice might become a mistake. And that is where a strange, almost invisible kind of exhaustion begins. It does not come from movement. It comes from constant internal supervision. Imagine having a manager following you from room to room, questioning every pause, every choice, and every unfinished task. Now imagine that manager lives inside your own head and never clocks out. You close one tab, but immediately wonder whether you closed the wrong one. You begin one task while mentally protecting yourself from the guilt of not doing another. You sit down to focus, but part of you remains available for messages, interruptions, bad news, and imagined consequences. Your attention is never fully in one place because your mind is keeping several doors open at once. That is why doing very little can still feel like carrying too much. Halfway through the day, you may assume the problem is simple. You are just overthinking. But thinking itself is not always the thing draining you most. The deeper drain is remaining psychologically available for absolutely everything around you. You are available for the task you should be doing, the person who might need you, and the problem that might appear. You are available for the future, the past, and every version of yourself you are afraid of disappointing. Even when nothing is happening, some part of you is still on call. And a mind that is always on call never receives the message that it is safe to recover. At lunch, you stop working, but you do not actually stop carrying work. The laptop closes, but the unfinished task refuses to close with it. Instead, it moves into your head, where it quietly begins charging rent. You chew your food while mentally rewriting a conversation that has not happened yet. You stare out the window while rehearsing explanations for why you are not further ahead. Your body is eating, but your brain is still trying to prevent tomorrow from becoming painful. That is not genuine rest. It is a form of invisible mental labor. Then something even stranger happens. When you finally get a quiet moment, your mind does not relax. It becomes louder. The silence gives every unfinished thought enough space to step forward at the same time. So you reach for noise, scrolling, videos, or anything that can cover the internal conversation. It may look like laziness from the outside, but often it is an attempt to escape the pressure of being alone with everything still open. And because distraction creates no real closure, you return from it even more tired than before. Now the day has a second layer of exhaustion, the original pressure, plus guilt about how you tried to escape it. You tell yourself you wasted time, so you promise to compensate for it later. That promise becomes one more invisible task for your brain to keep carrying. By late afternoon, the exhaustion no longer seems connected to anything specific. It feels like fog, heaviness, irritability, or a strange inability to begin even something simple. You may call yourself undisciplined because you cannot see the work your mind has been doing. But your brain has spent hours forecasting, comparing, rehearsing, monitoring, and trying to prevent mistakes. It has been running endless simulations while your body appeared to be sitting still. Those simulations consume real attention, create real tension, and use real energy. Here is the first major clue. You may not be tired because you did too much. You may be tired because almost nothing you did ever felt truly finished. The message was answered, but you continued analyzing its tone and possible meaning. The task was completed, but you kept wondering whether it was good enough. The decision was made, but your mind kept reopening the case for review. Even your rest remained unfinished because you spent it thinking about when you should stop resting. Your day contained plenty of activity, but almost no clear psychological endings. And without endings, the nervous system does not know when to release what it has been holding. This is why an empty evening can feel heavier than a busy morning. At 7:13 p.m., you lie on the couch and finally stop moving. But your mind continues supervising you. It says you should cook, answer someone, plan tomorrow, fix your mood, and use the evening better. Your body has stopped working, but your mind has not stopped evaluating. So even rest becomes another performance you believe you are failing. This is the cruelest part. You can spend hours doing nothing and never experience a single minute of actual permission. Real rest is not merely the physical absence of activity or movement. It is the temporary absence of responsibility, evaluation, urgency, and internal negotiation. If your mind believes everything remains your responsibility right now, your body may lie down without ever feeling released. So the solution is not always to become stricter, faster, or more productive. Sometimes, the first step is to create endings your nervous system can recognize. Choose one unfinished problem and consciously decide that it will not be solved today. Write down the next physical action, then stop rehearsing the entire future. Close one mental loop clearly, even when the result remains imperfect. And when you rest, do not turn rest into a reward you must earn with enough suffering. Treat it as maintenance for a system that has been running without a shutdown signal. For the next 24 hours, stop measuring only how much you accomplished. Notice how many things remained mentally open after the action was already over. Notice how often you kept supervising yourself after nobody else was asking anything from you. Then practice putting one thing down completely. Not forever, just for now. Because maybe your exhaustion is not evidence that you are lazy or weak. Maybe it is proof that your mind has forgotten how to put things down.